All right.
Hi guys,
Hey.
How are you today? We are going to be talking about Instagram today, and we are going to be sharing the 5 things that I have done to grow my business account from 0 followers to almost 10,000 followers in just 18 months.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So
I can't wait. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yes. So the first thing that we want to talk, I want to say, anytime I talk about social media, is that numbers are vanity, right? They really don't matter. Really don't matter for your business if all you're thinking about is having a big amount of people following you and you're not actually making money off of those followers. It really doesn't matter to me if you're a business person, and that's what we're talking about here, right? Is business. Lady Boss Workshops is all about growing your business. So I want to say that first, that you can have just 200 followers, and as long as you're making money and booking clients on those 200 followers, that's great.
I mean, that's my account. Like, I don't have a huge amount of followers. I can move it.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
But I have really high engagement.
Exactly.
And so I sell a lot of product off of Instagram, and I book a lot of sessions off of Instagram,
Yes.
which is really great.
Exactly. So that's what I want you to know first and foremost, is that the number under your name really is insignificant if you're not making money off the number under your name. And we do know people in the industry, and I will never point anyone out, that have 100,000 followers and aren't making any money off their followers. So that's a problem, I think, unless you're just doing it for the vanity stuff and you just want fame on Instagram. But if you want to make this a business, you really need to figure out how you're going to convert these followers into paying clients.
Into money, because that's what it's all about.
That's what it's
we
all
like
about.
money.
So what we will say, though, is that there's something called social proof. And you can talk a little bit about that, too. I feel like you explain it really well. But social proof is...
Do you want me to explain?
Yeah, explain it. Explain that phenomenon, please, before we go into the rest of it.
Okay, so really all social proof is just showing the world that you are an authority at something. So I always explain it like if you're walking down the street and you see 2 restaurants, and one restaurant's jam-packed and there's a line out the door, and the other restaurant has 2 or 3 people in it. You're just going to naturally assume that the one that is, has the line out the door is the better restaurant. That's social proof, because, if everybody else is going there, there must be a reason, there must be something good. And so that's one thing to think about when you are looking at social media numbers, and again, engagement on social media. So again, engagement is what it's all about. If you have a post and you have a lot of comments and a lot of likes on that post, that is showing social proof. That's showing other people that what you have to say is worth hearing, and that your images are beautiful, and that you're an authority at what you do, and they should listen to you.
Yes. And the other thing about engagement is that is the one thing that we know for sure is going to boost you up in the algorithm. Now, nobody actually knows what the algorithm is. Who knows who the Wizard of Oz is behind Instagram?
Behind the curtain.
Yes, that changes it every
boop,
day.
boop, 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 boop.
But there is proof that what Instagram and Facebook like as well, we're not talking about Facebook today, but they like engagement. So they want to see likes on your posts and interaction with your posts. So people commenting, sharing, saving. People can save your posts if you have noticed, and if you have a business account, you can go in and see that. But not talking about that today, squirrel. Okay, so what I want to share with you are 5 things that I did, 5 pretty distinct strategies that I used to grow my following from 0 to 10,000. Now, I will say that I did have a private account 18 months ago that had about 1,500 followers, and I decided to switch, leave that one private and start a brand new account just for my business. And that's a whole other video, and I will explain why we both do that another time. But anyway, so I'm going to explain to you the 5 strategies that I've used to grow my following from 0 to 10,000 almost. I'm right under 10,000. And I have my little notes here so that I don't forget. So the first one...
I'm going to look at your notes.
Yeah,
too,
so the first thing that I did is curate my photos. So gone are the days when, when Instagram first started and it was like taboo to post a professional photograph on your feed. It was like all about, mobile photography. That's not the case anymore. Now for professional pages, you really need to highly curate what you're posting, and it really needs to be on brand. Now you can use your iPhone if you want, but you need to edit that picture so that it looks on brand with your portfolio.
And I will say, if you want to see what it used to look like, if you go to my Instagram account and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see my old school Instagram. When it was my kids and it was all mobile photography, I didn't do a new one. I just decided to use my Instagram Sandra Cohn for my business, and I just made that transition, and now I have a private one for my family.
Yeah.
But you can do that too. You don't have to start completely from scratch if you don't want to.
You don't have to. So,
but I do curate now. It's
yes,
very curated, and it's a portfolio.
It should be a portfolio. And what I was going to say is, if you think about the psychology of how people use Instagram, if they see a photograph that they really like, so something that, or even just the content that they like that you're talking about, and they go over to your profile, if it's a mess, if it's not well curated, if it's not on brand, if it's not pleasing to the eye, they aren't going to click follow. They're less likely to click follow. So that's why it needs to be highly curated with high quality photographs. And it really should be an extension of your portfolio. I've been booking clients directly from Instagram that never go to my website. They see the portfolio that I have there and they click email and go directly to my website that way. So it is important to highly curate. So that's the first thing that you can do.
So number one, curate.
Curate. Number two, this is the most important one to me. I think this is the most important one, and I know that those of us that are new to doing this, it's hard to do. You have to show you in your feed. Your actual face needs to show up in your Instagram feed, your mug. And I have done testing on this, and I've tested it on her too because she doesn't like to do it. Go do it right now. Take a picture of yourself, a good one, post it on Instagram or post a headshot, write a little bit about yourself, and you'll probably get double the engagement that you got on any other post.
I'm living proof of this. So like Elena said, I hate doing this. It makes me feel douchey. I mean, can I say douchey on YouTube? It makes me feel douchey.
Yeah,
I hate
doing
it.
We all feel a little bit...
It's like weird and self-conscious, and you're talking about yourself, and I don't love having my picture taken anyway. But you guys, it's so important. It's so important for your clients to get to know you. People want to know who they're working with, but also I think for me anyway, it's become something that's good for me to get used to looking at myself, to get used to being okay with that. I think that there's kind of something deeper there. We'll have to explore it.
I personally feel like what it is, because I've been, like I said, anything that I teach you, anything that we teach you, we have experimented with and we've worked with on our own. And I think what it is that we live in a very disconnected time where everybody is on the internet. We're all on screens, and we see beautiful work, beautiful homes, beautiful travel, but we don't actually see the people who are posting these things. And often people don't even write anything, which we're going to get into that in a second. And so I think when someone sees the human behind the Instagram account, they engage with it because we're humans and we're craving connection. So this is going to be huge for your following. I promise. This is probably the single, if you do one of these 5 things, start posting yourself on your Instagram account. I try to do it at least every 9 posts so that it's always on the grid. I'm actually trying to do it more now because I know how well it works. But if that's troubling for you, every 9 posts, try to do it once a month. Just get started, somewhere easy. And
I'm trying to do it once a month.
There you go. So post you on Instagram.
Doing my best.
Okay. So that moves us straight to number 3. Photos aren't enough. You have to have engaging content. And what's interesting is that I'm a social media expert, she's an SEO expert. It's actually all very similar. You have to have engaging content. If you just post a beautiful photo of a baby and say swoon, like that's not asking for any engagement. That's not
OMG, so cute.
Yeah, oh, baby toes are amazing. Whatever, we've all done it, right? That's what we used to do. Now you need to speak your why. You need to be engaging your ideal client in your content. So it has to be a really high quality photo, and then it has to be engaging content. So both things need to happen for the algorithm to really love what you're doing.
And if you get stuck on what kind of engaging content, try to think like your client. Like, what do they need to know about your work? What do they want to know about what you do? What do they need to know about the process, how you work? What questions do they have that you could answer? And those are all things that you could be writing about.
Yep, absolutely. So number 4 is that you need to use hashtags with intention. Now, I have heard people who have 200,000 followers saying you don't need hashtags. Well, they don't because they have 200,000 followers. That's a lie.
I need hashtags.
I need hashtags. You absolutely need to use hashtags, and there's a bunch of reasons why, but you really need to be using hashtags because that, just kind of like a Google search, is how people are finding people on Instagram. So for me, for instance, and Sandra, someone that is looking for a photographer will look for the hashtag Seattle Family Photographer, Seattle Newborn Photographer. So you definitely need to be using hashtags. Now, hashtags are actually kind of complicated, and there's a lot of strategy behind how I do my hashtags and how she uses hers. And so we actually have a free download for you that will be linked in the description that is all about how to get started. It's like hashtag basics for photographers, and it's even going to teach you how to do it quickly so that you're not actually typing in 30 hashtags every time. So grab that, and you'll get a lot more information about hashtags. But for the purpose of this video, yes, you do need to be hashtagging, and it's definitely something that is going to help grow your
How
following.
do you feel about like the cute hashtags? You know,
So-
like the silly, like whatever, like love my pizza, or just like
well,
the cutest dog in the
so
world.
I don't do those.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I don't do them either.
I don't do those at all. So I think about it as first I do my local stuff because I want to bring in my local client. And then I think about the peers that I want to reach because I do want peers who are going to engage in my content to be there on my Instagram because that's important. I think that we're a community, and so I hashtag kind of more broad in that way, like Click
You start
Pro.
local and
I
then
start
you go
local, then I go to
broad.
Click Pro, looks like film, some of the bigger ones. And then I try to find some that are very specific to the genre that I'm posting about. So I have different subsets. So for like maternity, I have maternity fashion, maternity style.
I should totally hashtag looks like film.
Yeah, you're all, because it is
'Cause
film.
it actually
But the reason I mentioned that one is because that
I'm
one
just
is
joking.
huge
Is
on
it really?
Instagram. Oh yeah, it has like
Okay.
300,000 hashtaggers.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of strategy related based on like, if you're hashtagging these giant ones, you may never show up in their big feed, but it's worth, risking putting a couple of those in there because if they pick up your picture and share it on their feed, you're going to get a bunch of
I
followers.
mean, that's
so.
how I feel about the cute hashtags too. It's like
Yeah.
it's not serving a purpose. It's funny and it's fun, but
I don't think
unless
about
it's
it like that.
actually pulling in clients, like what's the point?
Yep.
Use every single one of
Followers.
those 30
Yep,
spots.
I use every single one for
Yeah.
the purpose. So if
Alright.
it's a newborn, I will do like newborn baby boy.
Yeah.
Whatever reason that somebody might be looking for the content that I have and that is actually going to serve that person, because that's the kind of followers you want.
Mm-hmm.
You want followers who are going to engage in your content. I also hashtag my gear, Team Canon lenses. Sometimes I'll actually hashtag the actual lens that I use. So lots
do
of
that
different
too.
things that you can do.
What I shoot with.
But I do intentionally, every single hashtag I'm using is to bring in a certain type of follower.
And I hashtag my business name too.
Oh yeah, I have that too.
Yeah.
Elena Esper Photography.
Same.
And that's in the worksheet. It'll talk about why that's great for your current clients too, because they can see, and you can even subset it. Like you can say Elena Esper Newborns, Elena Esper Schools. So download that worksheet.
It's a really good one,
It's
you
a
guys.
good one. It has lots of good information only about hashtags, because hashtags are really kind of complicated.
I mean,
actually.
we could talk about hashtags
Yeah,
all day, but
so
we're
that's
moving
why we
on.
have that opt-in for you.
So.
All right, and then final biggest one, I feel like this is a big one too, number 5, is that you need to use calls to action. So we as humans don't know what people want us to do unless they tell us, right? So whenever I'm posting, and just you can even do this as a little like experiment right now. If I just want to say something simple, like I'm not feeling really philosophical in that moment, and I'm like, isn't this baby beautiful? Double tap if you agree. The amount of likes that I will get on that post will be like double or triple than if I hadn't said that. For whatever that psychological just little makes people go doo-doo with their thumb. It's weird.
Or I'll even do a, raise your hand if you agree and do the little emoji.
Yep.
And then everybody will post the same emoji.
Yeah, I
or
did that
who's
today.
with me with a little emoji.
Yeah,
And everybody
give
will
me
raise their
a
hand.
raise the roof if you're with me.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. Or if you want them to go to your LinkedIn profile, tell them to go to your LinkedIn profile. So often, every couple of days or whatever, I have a certain thing that I want them to go to, whether it be a blog post or a download that I have for them, and I'll say, go to LinkedIn profile. And when you say that, if you look at your algorithm, the analytics, you'll notice that on those days, you got more profile visits. So it works. You need to tell them what you want them to do. So
Absolutely.
whenever I do an introduction, I say, leave in the comments, something, where you're from, whatever, and they will comment. So you need to use your calls to actions. And like douchey is a good word, because when you first start doing it, you're kind of like,
I'm
this
a
is weird,
douche.
but it's not weird. It's good strategy. We want you to actually be bringing in paying clients with your
Yes.
Instagram. So there you have it, guys. That's 5 things that I do and have done over
And
the
I do
last
too.
18 months
I'm
to
learning.
grow my business, my Instagram following from literally no followers to nearly 10,000. It might be a little over 18 months now. I'm getting closer to 2 years probably. It's not that
not
far
super
over.
old.
No, and that's a modest following. 10,000 isn't that many. I realize that there are people with 100,000, but I have highly engaged followers, and I do book paying clients from
Yeah.
Instagram.
So okay, download
Download that hashtag
the
opt-in.
opt-in.
Yeah.
Give us a thumbs up if this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to our station so you never miss one of these awesome
And
videos.
share with your
Share
friends.
with your friends. Tell
All right.
everybody.
Go
All
get
right.
it, Lady Boss.